To overcome this learning outcome, we first need to understand what mutually exclusive means. When two events are mutually exclusive, they cannot occur at the same time. For example, flipping a single coin. The coin will land either on heads or on tails. You can't get an outcome where the result is heads and tails at the same time on the single coin. The same with a single six-sided dice. The dice can land on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, but not a combination of these outcomes. There can only be one of these outcomes. Let's look at an example of how this understanding can help us answer some questions. A quick recap question. What is the probability of rolling a 3 on a fair six-sided dice? On a fair six-sided dice, there are 6 possible outcomes. Out of these 6 outcomes, there is only one 3 face on the dice. Therefore, the probability of rolling a 3 is 1 out of 6, or 1/6. Let's say we had an unfair six-sided dice where there is no 5 and 2 3 faces. What is the probability of rolling a 3? In a single roll, there are still 6 outcomes, but on this dice, there are 2 3 sides. So, there are 2 possible outcomes out of the 6 outcomes that satisfy the question. The probability is 2 out of 6, or simplified, 1 out of 3, or a third. Thinking about the context and language of the question is very important, and it helps indicate if the question involves mutually exclusive events. For instance, think about the context and wording of these questions. Pause and have a go. The first question is straightforward. In the bag, there are a total of 9 marbles. Out of the 9, 2 are green. Therefore, the probability that the one marble selected is green is 2 over 9. The second question, we have to think about the context and wording a bit. A green and red marble. In the bag, there are no marbles that are both green and red. They are only one of the 3 colors. So the answer is 0 out of 9, or 0. The third question is asking for the probability of green or red. This means we are looking for the probability of picking either color. How many marbles are green or red? The probability of green is 2 over 9 and the probability of red is 3 out of 9. When the question is asking for either of the 2 events, we add their probabilities together. So the probability is 5 out of 9. Another way of thinking about this question is, let's say we're playing a game and you win if you pick a green or red marble. How many different marbles could you choose that would make you win? The answer is 5 marbles, as it says green or red. Pause and have a think about this question. To answer the question, we would have to add the probabilities of green to the probability of blue, as it's asking for green or blue. We know that red represents 30%, and blue represents 25%, and whatever's left over is green. In percentage, a whole represents 100%. So if we add 30% and 25% together, the remaining percentage must be the percentage for green. 30 plus 25 gives us 55%. 100% subtract 55% equals to 45%, which represents green. Now we know the percentage of green. To get the final answer, we add the probability of green and blue together. 45% plus 25% equals to 70%. The probability of landing on green or blue is 70%. To summarize, mutually exclusive events cannot occur at the same time. When answering a question involving mutually exclusive events, look at the context and wording of the question to help better understand what to do. When events are mutually exclusive and the question is asking for the probability of one event or the other, add the probabilities of each event together.